Hello, my name is Dr. Hillel Mazansky, and I specialize in medical hypnosis, guided imagery, nutrition, and exercise. My website being www.gianinc.com, Guided Imagery and Nutrition Incorporated.com. Today, I wish to speak about childhood obesity. My passion, as well as that of the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. Childhood obesity is a volcano about to erupt. The incidence of childhood obesity is increasing in the United States, where it's epidemic. It is not only epidemic, it has now become pandemic, which means an epidemic over the entire globe. There is much that can be said about childhood obesity, and for more information, you can check my website on the childhood obesity icon. There's a special tab there, or far more information about childhood obesity than I can say in a YouTube video. To start, we can cast the blame on everybody, from the government, to the parents, to the advertising industry, to the food industry, to the physicians. There is no one that is held harmless in not attempting to prevent and treat the disease. How will we start by treating this disease? The very first thing one does, and I'm speaking now to the females, is try not to have a cesarean section unless it's absolutely necessary. Studies have shown that obese children and teens, where their mothers had a cesarean section, the incidence of childhood obesity is much higher. The second thing, when your baby is born, please, I beg, nurse your newborn baby. Breastfed children have a far lower incidence of childhood obesity than those who are fed formula. When it comes to the child beginning to grow up, my suggestion is to throw out the television set in your home. And you might question the wisdom of this, but it is that television set where the food industry advertises their toxic materials. Everyone thinks that advertisements are aimed at the parents. No, it is aimed at the children, because they see what is advertised, all high sugar, high fructose, high saturated fat foods from various companies, and they go and then ask their mother to buy these foods, and she or the father acquiesces and does that. When the child is young, instead of feeding the child a cookie or a candy if they've done a good job, ingratiate yourself with them by giving them a small piece of a carrot with some peanut butter or something healthy. It is not a matter of never ever giving it to them or denying them when they have a party at their birthday or when they're invited to parties and birthdays. Allow them to indulge in some of those foods, but to feed them on a daily basis with a high fructose, high fat foods is causing, pun unintended, a huge problem with obese children. Children and teens who become obese suffer psychological as well as physical issues. At the root of childhood obesity, when one treats a child with the illness is to delve into their psychological minds to find out if there was something severely traumatic that happened to them when they were young children, whether it was sexual abuse or other abuse, that could lead them later on in life to become compulsive eaters. They also suffer psychological problems because they are bullied at school and they are excluded from playing all sport and mingling with the rest of their peers, who sometimes can be very brutal. Those children retract to their homes, they sit on the couch, they watch television, and then the munchies are also used. For the first time in medical history, children and teens with obesity are on the same medication as their parents and grandparents for high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, high cholesterol, antidepressants, and the list goes on. Obese children and teens are at risk of early death, dying from diseases of the heart, heart attacks, brain, strokes, diabetes is so prevalent in the United States amongst obese children and teens. And an issue is that they do not respond to the normal adult forms of oral anti-diabetes medications and have to use insulin. My goodness. This is an issue, my friends, that needs to be taken extremely seriously. As I mentioned, this is my passion, working with the First Lady and all her organizations, volunteering my services at a local level here in San Diego, and everyone must play their part. I appeal to all the physicians to take this under advisement, to educate the parents about childhood obesity. And when the pediatricians or family physicians see an obese child, extra time needs to be spent with the child, talking and educating. For it is prevention is most important, and education equally so. I appeal to the parents, please, to feed your children nutritious food. Shop not in the supermarket in the center aisles where all the toxic prepared food is. Shop rather on the periphery of the supermarket where all the fresh fruit and vegetables and fish, etc. are kept. I am fully aware of the fact that the incidence of child and teen obesity is higher in the lower socioeconomic groups because it is that type of food that tends to be the least expensive. But parents, I appeal to you, feed your children nourishing food. You do not want to, God forbid, be at their funerals and burying them because of childhood obesity. New evidence has shown now that children with obesity, because they don't play outside and get sufficient sunlight, they have low vitamin D levels. And this can lead to many, many illnesses. As a parent, it is your responsibility to nourish your children in the correct manner. I ask of you, you might be working, but I ask of you, try and bond with the children, playing with them outside, taking them for a walk. Let them see and be in the sun more than they are. Do not worry about skin cancer, because that is not of an issue in childhood obesity. The problems and issues that children and teens with obesity have, the very last thing is to be concerned about skin cancer. As mentioned before, my friends, there is far more that I can say about it, but I do not want to continue. I think my message has been delivered to all concerned, and I invite you to go onto my website where we sell nothing, but check the childhood obesity tab. There is so much there. Please check my blogs on nutrition and exercise. Encourage your children to exercise, even if it is walking outside or playing, because then they will be occupied with the exercise, which they will be doing, losing weight, instead of sitting in front of the television or the computer or playing games. If there's anything more that I can be of value of, please feel free to email me at drhm@gianinc.com. Dr. Hillel Mazansky at Guided Imagery and Nutrition Incorporated.com. And I thank you for listening.